2 steps to loving yourself like you've never loved yourself before. In this Instagram live video, in this replay video, we are talking about 2 steps, 2 tools, 2 tips that you can take to love yourself. So much so, it's this love that you've deeply craved from your husband, from your partner, from your boyfriend. It's a love that you consistently want from other people. And what we're going to talk about today is how you can start giving yourself that love that you've deeply craved from other people, like a love you've never felt before. So welcome back to this Instagram Live and this replay video. We are bringing on a self-love and empowerment coach today for the next 30 minutes that we are going to be hopping on live. So please welcome on Laura. Welcome, welcome. While we bring Laura on, you all are more than welcome to for us to, or your comments for us to go ahead and view after or during this show. And if you all have any questions, you're welcome to ask us as well. Hello, hello.
Hello, so nice to be here.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura, for hopping on live with us as we talk about 2 potent steps for us to take in order to experience a self-love, a love like we've never felt before. So thank you for being here to talk about that today with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Sure. So let's sort of start off with your journey of self-love and maybe even what got you into being a self-love coach.
Yeah. So I guess like it's such a deep journey as you can imagine, and one that it started for me in like 2009, and it's I battled with my mental health for such a long time, and I was like at the depths of despair. I've faced so many near-death experiences, and I've been in and out of hospital so many times, and it's really been a journey. And there've been so many things along the way that have tried to then like sabotage me and all of these different things. And I've had like traditional therapy and all of these things, but nothing ever felt like it was working for me, and I wasn't sure why that was. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I turned to self-love and started to be more compassionate with myself, that's when everything started to shift. And that wasn't easy because it was so against everything that I knew, especially as women. Like it was so against like what we're told, like, being kind to yourself is selfish and you must put everyone else before yourself and all of this stuff. And it was really difficult, but what I had to do was like drown out the noise and just really focus on myself. And once I started to do that, things started to change for me. And then that led me to the fact that now I'm at a place where I, do love and accept who I am. And I help, and that's exactly why I help other women be able to do that for themselves, because it is possible in a world where we're told that it isn't, it absolutely is, and we can live a better quality of life. So in a nutshell, that's kind of like the trajectory of how it sort of has stemmed through my life.
Mm. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. I think that many people can resonate with that of experiencing, hardship in their life or just being mean and bullies to themselves. So for people who are watching this now, what are some ways that they know that they are not showing up from a place of love? So what are some habits or some traits that people exude? For example, one that comes up for me is when you look at yourself in the mirror and really just fine tuning and fine critiquing every little thing versus sitting and admiring who you are or smiling at yourself, for example.
Hmm.
And we're going to go into 2 potent tips that we recommend for everyone. But for those people that are watching this and they're thinking, well, I don't know if I love myself enough or do I love myself? So, what are some ways or examples that kind of show people that this isn't necessarily a form of loving yourself?
I guess if you're kind of putting everyone else first and you're craving something that is external to you. So if you're craving things outside of yourself and nothing seems to be fulfilling you, that is a good like indicator that you're not loving yourself, because actually we can try all of these different things outside of us, and we can buy the things, and we can buy the face cream, and we
Mm-hmm.
can read the book and all of these things, and of course they are amazing for a moment, but when we actually step inside, that's when we begin to do that inner work and we feel good about ourselves. But yeah, so I think just becoming aware of the fact that you don't feel fulfilled, you are potentially feeling exhausted or burnt out because you are pouring into everyone else's cups around you but your own. That
Mm-hmm.
is an indicator of you almost neglecting yourself. You're not treating yourself with the same kindness that you're giving to others. And that's just one of the things.
Mm, totally. And I think it's a beautiful point that you made about how, it's not to, because it's very easy for people to listen to an Instagram live like this, for example, and then start to beat themselves up and shame themselves and think, oh my gosh, I do this all the time to myself, right? But that's just perpetuating the cycle of what we've been doing of shaming ourselves, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
this conversation, for those of you watching this live or this replay, is not to shame yourself for things that we talk about. It's to bring this into awareness of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. I recognize that I consistently over give or provide for others consistently and constantly feel burnt out in my life or constantly feel overwhelmed. And I'm not sure why until this moment now when I'm listening to this conversation, or maybe you've heard it, consistently over time with videos, but it's just now landing for you of, okay, cool, I need to start filling up my cup first.
Yeah.
Or I need to start, you know, let's say that I need to start filling up my cup first. So it's very easy for us to go into shame. And I really
Mm-hmm.
want to validate and normalize that that's completely normal for those things to happen. But the point of this is to actually love yourself and give yourself grace that you only knew what you knew then. And this is bringing forth further awareness. And hopefully you can practice one of these tools that we're going to provide for you if and when shame arises when you listen to these conversations. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it. It's about just noticing without that judgment, and just noticing where you're at right now, and knowing that actually self-love is all about being kind to yourself even when you make mistakes. Like that is the foundation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's about holding your own hand and being gentle with yourself even when things just aren't going right, or you feel like you're trying everything and nothing seems to be working. Like with self-love, it's not something that is just going to change rapidly overnight. It's a continuous thing that you choose every day. And one of my biggest messages is that self-love is not a destination, it's a continuous journey, and one that you commit to yourself every day because you know you deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love, love, love that you shared that because for me, God, and that's what I'm going to talk about today as well. God is everything in my life. So it's something that Myron Golden talks about is that our who in regards to who we are, like we're always becoming. So it's also, it reminds
Mhm.
me of that in life that we're always on this journey of loving ourselves. And it doesn't have to be from this place of, oh my gosh, it's like we're never going to reach it. It's actually just a beautiful evolution that we
Mhm.
have, or a beautiful journey that we get to have, like you talk about, where it just deepens within us in different ways and heals us in deeper ways. And that, like this conversation, it doesn't only just impact you, and not meaning you, Laura, but you in
Yeah.
regards to you, whoever's watching this. When you start to love yourself, it doesn't just impact you. It makes a ripple effect
Yeah.
for your children. It makes a ripple effect for your future generations to come, your future grandkids, your current grandkids, because they're seeing you model behavior,
Mhm.
to Laura's point, that isn't as common or normalized to do yet in the world. And so it's your responsibility in watching videos like this to start practicing these tips and practicing these tools, not from shame, But if
Hmm.
it feels hard, for example, to do it for yourself, think about your kids and think about the impact that this can have on them and also your grandkids as well.
Yeah, that's it. I always say that as well. Like it just becomes a beautiful ripple effect that begins to touch everyone's hearts without you even knowing. When you start doing that work, it's not only beautiful for you, but the collective and everyone else that is to come after us as well. And I think if we can start to rewrite the story, especially as women,
Mm,
then it's going to change things for future generations and hopefully will stop that shame and self-criticism that we tend to give ourselves right now. So it gets to be exciting as well. It doesn't have to be something fearful, and that's something to really like take forwards is that this journey doesn't have to be hard, and you also don't have to do it alone. You're not alone.
mm, mm. Thank you for sharing all of that. And that kind of feeds us into our next point as well. What would you say is one of your biggest tips or biggest pieces of advices that you have in regards to loving yourself?
Awareness, self-awareness every time. If you're not aware that you're being critical of yourself and you're talking to yourself in a certain way or treating yourself in a certain way, it's going to be impossible to make the changes to be able to start treating yourself in the opposite way with love and kindness,
Mm,
because it's become so autopilot that we don't even recognize when we're being harsh and critical with ourselves. You know, you might like spill your drink on your shirt before you leave the house and you're berating yourself all day about it, and you spend the entire day thinking that you're a failure or everything goes wrong for you. And I think if you start becoming aware of how you talk to yourself at an internal level, that's when you can make the change. And it's about again noticing it without the judgment. I'm talking to myself in this way again. Okay, I'm not going to beat myself up, but then there gets to be another way of thinking. There gets to be another way that I get to talk to myself. Yes, I spilt drink on my shirt, and that's okay. Like, I'm human, we make mistakes. And over time, the more that you start to continuously reframe how you're speaking to yourself critically to positive, you will automatically then begin to rewire your mindset to do that without you even needing to do anything. And again, it's not something that is going to change overnight. It just takes practice and time. And the
mm,
more that you do it, the easier it will get until that self-loving voice becomes your norm, becomes the autopilot. So that
mhm.
is like my biggest thing.
Mhm. Absolutely. So, what do you feel? And you mentioned that about, which I think is a great example that many of us can relate to, or that we saw modeled, right? You drop something on the floor, and it's like, oh, like just chaos. But it's like you just dropped something on the floor, like it's okay, or you spilled something on your shirt, like
Yeah.
it's okay, So. I'm gonna go into a piece that correlates with that. But what I want to hear from you is if someone's sitting here thinking like, okay, I see that awareness, like I recognize that, what are some other ways that people can start becoming aware of how they're talking to themselves if they're not sure if it's coming from love or not?
I think you'll know because you'll feel shame. You'll start to feel shame. You'll start to feel guilt. You'll feel it in your gut. You'll
Mhm.
also recognize that you again are craving something that you're giving to others. So you might be seeking external validation or approval from other people. So that's another sign of awareness. Like, does
Mm,
this look good on me? You
mm,
know, and asking questions like that is like you're seeking approval when actually you could give it to yourself. You could say, I look really good in this today, you know? And you might find it hard, you might find it cringy, give it a go,
mhm.
practice it,
Yeah.
you know? Or what
Mhm.
you could actually do, like today, this evening, is look at yourself in the mirror, as cringy and as hard as this might feel, and it will feel hard, but it's
Mhm.
supposed to, especially if it's the first time.
Mhm.
Say to yourself, I love you. And if
Mm,
it feels hard, then it's time to start practicing it more, you know?
mm,
And over time, that will start to lessen as well until you actually start to walk past a mirror and glance at yourself and smile instead of try and pick yourself apart.
mm, mm. This is so good. This is so, so, so good. And I mean, just so the details are very helpful, right, for
Hmm.
providing for people. So that way there is more self-awareness when it comes to loving yourself. So I thank you for providing that for us as well. Something that ties in with what you talked about, that's a deepening of what you're talking about, which is great, is, and this is one of the most profound things, profound tools that I've learned about in loving myself more than I could imagine or thought was possible, because in ways similar to what you talked about, I grew up not being very confident. I was very, very shy as a young girl. And I
Me
still have
too.
moments, yeah,
Me
I still have
too.
moments of being shy, and I would look past the mirror and I would just like really obsess and like all these different things, and seek the validation consistently from other people, and that's a whole journey. But I thought that my external was the main
Yeah.
source of my security and the main source of my value and what I provided. And that's a whole different conversation that we could go into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I started practicing this tool, this was one of the biggest tools for me. That was a huge mindset or a huge shift in healing myself that I find comes from God. So when I started practicing inner child work, and what I mean by that is when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, or to all of Laura's awesome examples, like when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you drop something accidentally on your shirt because we're human, or when we drop something on the floor, noticing how you talk to yourself. Yes. And something that's very helpful is noticing, would you say those things to the 5-year-old version of you? Right? Would you sit there and shame yourself? Or would you say that to, if that feels hard, would you say that to your own child? Would you say that to your grandchild? Like, probably no. I'm gonna guess 9 times out of 10, no. You wouldn't say the harsh, mean things that we can sometimes say, or that we used to say, but can sometimes say to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So again, to Laura's point, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel awkward, because these are basically new habits that you're forming.
Yeah.
That's really
Exactly.
what it is. You're forming a new habit and you're breaking an old habit that no longer aligns with who you want to be or isn't healthy for you. Like, to Laura's point, think about when you shame yourself, when you drop something accidentally, when you drop something on your clothes, which happens because we're human. Is it helpful to sit there and shame yourself and say, oh, you're a POS, I can't believe this happened, or whisper things under your breath? Like, does that help you?
Mm-hmm.
No. Does that help the people that you're around to hear that? No. Does it help your kids? No. Does it help your grandkids? No. It doesn't help anyone. But it's just, and again, this is not to shame yourself, but this is just what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you saw modeled by your parents or your
Mm-hmm.
grandparents, or movies,
Yeah.
TV shows.
Exactly.
Like, that's really big. Um, that I've kind of debunked recently as well. Like, how many movies and TV shows, especially movies, that you see that do these behaviors. So it's about forming a new habit, forming a new belief, which some habits, for example, when you're hearing Laura and I talk, some of you, for example, you've already switched the habit. Some of you, you're like, oh, this resonates with me so much. Like, it's already in my mind if I want to start doing this, and that feels so good for you. And that's awesome. And then
Yeah.
other habits, if it's more deeply rooted, it might take some time. So don't just try this and to Laura's point, don't just practice the I love you and looking at yourself in the mirror
Yeah.
one time. And then you're like, it's not working. They're lying, right? It's like, sometimes, because it's a habit, sometimes these things take a little bit longer. And that's okay. And that's a great way to give yourself self-love right there, of, okay, cool, I'm going to continuously, just like anything in life, anything in life that is good, I'm going to continuously do this because I do see it working. Or I'm
Yeah.
going to continuously do this because the old way of how I was talking to myself was not working for me.
Hmm.
So that's been one of the biggest life-changing tools for me, is thinking about how would I talk to the 5-year-old version of me? Or how would I talk to my best friend or my mom or someone that I deeply care for, right? It's like you would talk to them with love, you would talk to them with grace, you would say, versus like, oh, when you drop something, oh my gosh, I can't believe you POS, I can't believe you did that, right? It's like, first off, you would check and see, are you okay?
Yeah,
Like you check in with
exactly.
you physically,
Yeah.
like, are you okay? Are you, because it's just things. Like if you get in a car accident, for example, and you're like, oh, or you back into something, it's like, oh my gosh, right? Like, can you actually check in with you and say, like, are you okay?
Take a moment to pause and breathe. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Like, are you okay? Check in with you. Okay, I love you. It was just an accident. Now moving forward, I don't think it's about being ignorant of like, okay, then I'm just gonna, like, what's helpful is like, this is not about not taking responsibility for your life as an adult, but it's about, okay, how you talk to yourself again with the conversation of all of this. So, okay, are you okay? Okay, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, cool. So this was a learning lesson. I love you, and this was a learning lesson that maybe we keep the bowl a little bit towards the middle now moving forward. Or, it's okay, let's clean it up together. Like kind of just intuitively and practice this of like what you feel you need, because I think it's important to learn lessons and take responsibility. So again, like maybe if you placed a bowl towards the end of the counter, it's like, okay, that was a learning lesson for us, that we can place it more towards the middle, and that's okay, and we learned that, right? But it's just, notice how different that feels even as you all are listening to that versus, oh my gosh, you POS, right? It's like, and then to Laura's point, you're thinking about it for the rest of the day. So that's a very helpful tip that I've learned and really enjoy practicing, especially checking in with yourself first of how you feel, and then again thinking about how you would talk to the younger version of you, or the your own child or your grandchild.
Yeah, and I think as well, something that I'm really big on is journaling. So if you're like struggling with your own thoughts and the things that are coming up for you and you don't know where to place them or you don't feel like you've got anyone to turn to, write them down. Just do a whole big brain dump and get out all of your thoughts. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you see your thoughts on paper, you look at them and like, oh my God, I'm actually talking to myself like this. It
Mm-hmm.
makes it such a difference when you physically release it from your body and your mind and you see it on paper. You're like, wow, that is actually so harsh. And just when you're writing, just let the pen flow, just let it all out, and then you will free up your mind and your internal world, and just begin then by reframing it and like practicing that kind inner dialogue that is so possible for you and I, as all of the great points that you've mentioned, it. And with the confidence thing as well, I just want to say, like, I still class myself as being quiet and an introvert, but confidence isn't about being loud and in your face. Like, you can be quietly confident. It's more of a feeling, it doesn't have a look. So never think that I'm just an unconfident person. Like self-love, it's something that you learn. It's like building muscle. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that you keep building on and it strengthens over time.
Absolutely. And sometimes the best thing that we can do, I've found most often, which is just very helpful, sometimes the best thing we can do is just not say anything. And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is like not standing up for yourselves, and like that's a whole different thing. But it's, is this worth my energy to speak on, or to, like, if you're trying to prove points, like, can I actually just sit in knowing within myself my own truth, and do I have to be the one that gets the final word in? Like, can I just allow this to be and know my truth? And again, that's a totally different conversation we could go into, but Yeah, I think that this is such a powerful conversation because many people struggle with loving themselves, and thankfully now it's more of a talked about topic and conversation that you and I both teach on in regards to how to love yourself
Hmm.
in deeper capacities. So for people who are wanting to love themselves in a deeper way, who are wanting to stop feeling the consistent shame and having this just ruminate in their life and taking over their day, what are some ways that people can work with you in regards to loving themselves even
Yeah.
further?
Yeah, so I've got two really beautiful ways right now. So one of them is inside my 12-week signature program, which is the Empowered Woman, where we really deep dive into what is going on for you at your core and help you to unveil everything that has been holding you back, keeping you stuck from where you want to be. And we go on this huge journey together. Or I've got my membership, which is the Soul Circle Collective, which I hold sister circles every month. We do breath work, there's a private group, and it's such a beautiful, safe community to be in and land in, to really just come home to yourself and start to love and find out more about you and what you want, what you value in the world. So both of them are like the main things right now that would really help you on that journey of self-love. And if you are interested, then please do send me a message. I'm always open to chat about different ways that we can explore and whatever's going on for you right now. So yeah, they're my two. Thank you. What about you?
Mm, yeah, thank you for sharing this with us. And it's cool that you're based in London as well, too. I think that that's really an intimate space, this is me assuming, but an intimate space for people to be in person. I think that that's really cool. Like, do you offer that where it's an in person?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
do. So my membership is online. My membership is online, so that's the Soul Circle Collective, and that's like a really intimate group. But I also do women's circles every single month in person, which I've been doing for just over 3 years now, and it's one of the most rewarding things, witnessing the women that come time and time again and seeing them transform their life in front of my eyes is beautiful. Also, I'm up north, so I'm not actually in London. I'm like near Manchester. But yeah, like if anyone is in that area, Lancashire area, then I would love to welcome you inside.
That's beautiful. And I was talking with my a coach about this and how powerful, like the power of being in, because we're most of us are online, so the power
Yeah.
of being in person is so good. So I think that's great that you offer that in person, and I love that. So thank you for sharing that. So for me, for the person who is really, again, just struggling when they look in the mirror and fine tuning and fine critiquing and just consistently shaming themselves if they've felt like they overgive, similar to what we talk about just over or what we've talked about today, where they've consistently over given to
Yeah.
people and children throughout their whole entire life, and they're really feeling this pull to give back to them, and they have this idea that it's too late to do that. It's too late to start because I'm either 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever it is, and I just feel like it's too late for me, and I'm already on this
Mm-hmm.
trajectory in life. Like, this is for you in changing the narrative for yourself, because there's also a part of you that doesn't fully believe that. And there's a part of you that recognizes that you deserve and you crave fulfillment. And what I mean by that is you crave ease, you crave where you're able to be on vacations and enjoy and spend time in solitude and know that the kids are being taken care of and know that your husband is helping support you in that way, and that you can walk home and there's flowers and there's roses and you're just treated like this regal queen, that you also treat yourself in this way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the too late or too old detox that we have. And you can comment detox. We will send it over to you. So that's what we have to offer. It's a 6 mini video series for you to watch at your own leisure. It's about 15 minutes per session. So it's very quick. You can watch it at your own pace, and that's what we're offering right now.
That sounds incredible.
Thank you. Thank you again for hopping on with this call, and again for us to talk about self-love and for us to also share our journeys. I think that that's helpful for people
Mm-hmm.
to again have awareness of. I was just listening to a video right before this about that, of, you know, recognizing, because most of the time we just go about day-to-day life and we don't recognize something. There's 10 or 3 different options of what we can do. It's just like, this is just life, you
Yeah.
know, until we, and that's how I was, but it's like, until you start to recognize, or you see these videos, or you watch podcasts, that, oh, I could talk to myself this way, or oh, I
Mm-hmm.
could have this type of relationship, or oh, I could, you know, love myself in this capacity. I didn't know that that was possible. So that's how I felt too. So awareness like this is really powerful. So I hope that this blesses you all, that for those of you that are watching this. And I thank you, Laura, for being in the space of self-love as well, and just going, I mean, the evolution of
Mm-hmm.
your own journey of going, you know, experiencing from being hospitalized and all these different, you know, things that you've endured to where you are now, to loving yourself and to radiating, you know, from within and externally, is really beautiful. So thank you for sharing that with us.
And thank you for having me as well. I think it's such an important topic, and I really do feel like this conversation is going to reach the people that need it the most. So, whoever is listening, I'm sending you so much love. Like, your life can change, and
Mm.
just know that you do deserve it and you're not alone.
Mm. Thank you so much, Laura. I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much, and enjoy your meetups when you have those as well too.
Yeah, I will. You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. See
Bye.
you.